Of course there'd be construction happening the day I decided to record this video, because why not? Hey friends, my name's Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads and welcome to my backyard. Week 16 basically didn't exist because all I read were textbooks, and I'm not going to bore you with how terrible those textbooks were, and I actually really don't want to relive them. For week 17, Eyes Full of Empty by Jeremy Ghez, Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Roll, Charlie St. Cloud by Ben Sherwood, The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks, Sleeping Tom by Evie Fairfall, The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and The Vault of Dreamers by Carrig M. O'Brien. I kind of spoiled myself because I decided to read all the books that I had been putting off, so I'm going to have a really hard time choosing my best books of the week. For the best book that I read this week, The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Now this is a book that tells of a division of class, high society, and all the privileged ones are the Silverbloods. They're the ones who have supernatural powers, so telekinesis, super strength. Until this point, it's only been Silverbloods who have had that power. So in The Red Queen, Mare Barrow is a red, so she has red blood. She actually ends up being hired as a servant, and while she's working there, it turns out that she finds out that she has Silverblood powers. She has the power to control and create electricity. She is kind of forced to be forcibly adopted into the royal family and follows her journey as she finds out about all the political revolutions that are trying to be smothered, and how she's just trying to survive and keep her family alive through all of this. I was surprised by how good it was. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on it, and I think so I kind of was expecting not to like it. I thought that the plot was compelling. Once you find out that Mara has powers, it kind of just keeps going from there. It doesn't really slow down too much. I really enjoyed her journey of finding out kind of why she had powers and learning to use them and just being trained, and like her interactions with both brothers in the royal family. I thought that was really interesting. But the plot twist at the end, I felt like could have been a little bit stronger. I feel like maybe there wasn't as much of a build-up as there should have been. Obviously it still took me by surprise, but I wasn't brokenhearted like I feel like I would have been if there had been more of a build-up to it. I got Red Queen for $4.35 at this place called Book Off, and it was like the best decision of my life. I'm super glad I read it. My second book of the week that I really enjoyed was one that was given to me by a friend, Evie from the booktube couple, and that is Sleeping Tom. This book follows the story of a girl named Kaden who has just left an abusive relationship and is kind of hitchhiking even though she knows it's a bad idea, and she ends up being picked up by this guy who's a complete and total jerk called Gabriel, and while she's staying with Gabriel for the night, she finds out that he has this whole other personality known as Tom, and it's just kind of like her journey to figure out where the line between Gabriel and Tom is, why Gabriel turns into a completely different person at night, and just the whole mystery surrounding him as a person and Tom as a person, and figuring out how they both interact with each other, as well as kind of dealing with the drama that happens with her ex-boyfriend who is a complete total jerk. And I just, the whole point, every time that he came up in the book I was like, you are terrible, I don't like you at all. You see Kaden's journey from, in the beginning, like this kind of smaller and weaker character to how she finds her inner strength, and at the end, like she ends up being more in charge and more comfortable in her skin and more in control of her life. So I thought that was really good. This book ended on a cliffhanger and I'm so mad. Evie, if you watch this, I am so mad. I am dying for waking Gabriel to come out. The only part that kind of threw me off was I didn't realize how young the characters were, because a lot of the times they talk about living on their own and just like their apartments and that kind of stuff, and mainly this is Gabriel, and I know it's because he comes from this really wealthy family who owns a bunch of rental places, but at the same time I was just kind of like, I would have easily guessed these characters were in their 20s and not like high school kind of age. I thought there were a bunch of there was a cool cast of characters in there, and I enjoyed learning more about each one, and I want to see how they'll all play a part in the next book. As you can tell, I just read a lot of great books, okay? I can't help it. Like, I can't pick sometimes. I just have to talk about my favorites. Sometimes I don't read bad books, which is good because I needed to read all good books after I finished finals week. So the book that I started off loving, I ended up becoming so furious. So just absolutely like ready to throw it across the room at the ending. This book is Vault of Dreamers. It essentially is the story about this reality TV show that is set at this school, this high school for really gifted students. The freshman class goes through this whole competition in order to even get into the school, and only 50 out of the 100 are chosen. And one of those characters who barely makes it, and this entire book is told from her point of view, her name is Rosie. Rosie is a character that nobody bet on making past the 50 cuts until she became friends with some of the popular people. Every night at the school, because studies are so rigorous and they're kind of like, the students are constantly being watched, they are giving sleeping pills at night. It's mandatory for every student to take them. One night, Rosie skips her sleeping pill, and in doing so, she finds out that they're actually being experimented experimented on. And so it's this whole story of her trying to prove that the school is doing something terrible to them. It's so compelling and interesting, and I'm not gonna spoil anything for you guys, but I was so like wound up in the story that every time I got closer to the ending and closer to the ending, I was like, okay, how is this gonna end? How are they gonna wrap this up? Like, I want to know all of the details for how this book finishes. And then I get to the ending and it just ends. Like, there is nothing resolved. Like, everything just ends without like a conclusion, and it's just the way it ends. I got so mad. I was like, I just read through all of this fantastic writing, this really compelling plot, this really interesting story with characters that I really care about, and I want to know what happened to them, and then the book just ends. But now that I found out that it's part of a series, I think I'm gonna read the second book, and hopefully there'll be more of a conclusion. So for this week, my challenge is actually going to be a book with a type of food or drink in the title. That I am going to be reading The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. That is all that I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching. I have to talk fast, so my camera's about to die. Yeah, I almost made it. My camera died halfway through. That is all that I have for you guys this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't seen my latest video, then make sure you stick around. It will be playing right after this. If you guys like my channel, then make sure you subscribe. I try and upload bookish videos twice a week, but that is all that I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay. Bye. Okay, but like, can we just talk about how cute and adorable my little succulent plant is?